Hakuna jinsi zingine we need to read. You know, mimi uzuri yangu, I always talk things very open. I don't have anything against Morara. I don't know him. He don't know me either. I've been supporting the movement. Napata nothing. Anaongea kitu ya maana. I support her. Because I can hear kwamba yes, she mean what she's talking. Whenever she deviates, I'll cut myself off. Hata mimi, anytime ambao nitaanza kudeviate from movement, cut me off. We are not here to massage each other ego and buttressing each other. You know, you are a young boy. Come here, baby daddy. Come here, kababa. Usijali. We are not here. Wewe ulisimama ukasema you are ready to be a leader. Kwa hivyo si mambo na kubembelezana. You must stand to be counted. That is the reality. Si kila wakati unakuja kutulilia, kutuambia nini. Wala ambao walikufa kwa street walikuwa ni watoto, walizaliwa na mama wa watu, walikuwa na moyo, walikuwa na uhai. You are not better than them. Your life is not important than any other Kenyans. Wala ambao wataenda Uhuru Park, these are souls. They are human beings. Kwa nini wewe peke yako ndio unaona kwamba uhai wako ndio kama umetengenezwa na gold? So, hizi drama Morara anatufanyia. Si tunajua wote tumekaa nchi. We know these are what we call political gimmicks. Huyu jamaa mkubali, one day mtakuja kukubaliana na mimi. Na nilianza kuongea mambo ya Morara, I think hata wakati tu alianza kuja, because I could see na wote tutakuja kubali siku moja 100%. Sio tu kwamba ati lazima tuseme sijui Morara mpaka tuje tupate wakiwa kwa conference na Ruto. You will never see them. Lakini ile siku utakuja kuona ni ile siku sasa ambao watakuwa wameamua, they know kwamba nothing you can do. When we were leaderless, Ruto alikuwa na a lot of stress. He wanted to penetrate, to infiltrate, but he could not find a way. So what he was doing, he was to get a way ambao atakuwa na to divert. And before at some point, kama mnakumbuka, walianza kuchukua vijana wa UDA wakiwapeleka State House na media wakisema kwamba they are our leaders. Lakini when we came out strongly tukasema we don't have a leader, akakorogeka. When he was trying to call us to bomb us, kwenda kukaa chini, ndiye akamuita Raila, wakaenda wakafanya hizo deals. He was confused. Then now came Kasamuel. Kasamuel amekuja na party inaitwa Communist Party. Communist Party, it is an affiliate party of Kenya Kwanza. We didn't see that. And he was even daring kukuja kwa space na kwanza kutuzia agenda ya Communist Party. While Communist Party is an affiliate of Kenya Kwanza. That was the first red flag. Now Morara, yeye akakuja, ametumiwa Simba Arati, ametumiwa Osoro. Wamezungumza kule, washawekwa kila kitu, then sasa anakuja. If you could read the signs, every time there is a very important event, Morara always bring distraction. Mara kwanza sijui kulikuwa na nini, akakuja na fight na Masi Tarus. Kidogo kakuwa na nini, ameshikwa. Kidogo, like hii ya leo, it is very clear kwamba he just stage managed it. Okay, let me be devil's advocate. Okay, sasa wacha niseme kwamba alikosa mtihani. Okay, tulikuwa tumeelewana Narok. Nini imefanya uende leo and ilikuwa ikue kesho? Why today? Na ilikuwa kama ingefanyika kesho, I could give him a benefit of doubt. Why today? Why did you have to go today alafu tena kesho uje uende? The same place. At least kama angepigwa akitoka Murang'a ama akitoka Nakuru ama akitoka Machakos, bado ningempatia pia benefit of doubt. Lakini why do you need to go Narok na bado kesho ndio ilikuwa tuende pale? It is not making any sense. So this was scripted. Kuwa hata to divert attention, tusemekane tunaenda Narok. And then leo walete hizi drama. Then kesho watu waogope kwenda. Then Ruto sasa aendeleze program yake ya Mashujaa Day bila kusumbuliwa. So it is very clear. So tusijidanganye tena. Morara kama yashakula ile amekula, let him cut himself off. Atengeneze hiyo party yake, inject party. Wale watu ambao wanataka kumfuata, you go and register as a member of Inject Party. Wala ambao wanataka kungoja election 2027 wangoje waenda mpigie kura Morara. But mimi personally kama Fabish ninasema kwamba hatuwezi kujidanganya na election. I am standing with those people that says you cannot remove a tyrant in a constitutional contest. I'm standing with those people that they believe that it is only revolution ambayo inaweza kutoa William Ruto. So kila mmoja akona stand yake, lakini I am very much convicted that hata wale watu ambao mnasema kwamba you want to go the constitutional way, mnataka kwenda na Morara Inject Party ati mkamtoe Ruto kwa election 2027, tutakuwa tena hapa in this very same space mkisema vile kura ilibiwa na William Ruto, tupange tena maandamano. Anything about revolution, I'll always be there. Kama mnataka tufanye sasa, mnataka tufanye 2030, I have that energy. Lakini anything ya kusema kujidanganya ati tunangojea twende constitutional contest na William Ruto, I am not there. Personally, I am not there. I am not vying for any position, and I will not advise anyone who is close to me hata kwenda kukua clerk wa IBC. Because one, anybody that ataenda kufanya kazi na IBC under William Ruto, you will be signing a death warrant. So, Morara, I can confidently say, na hata kifungua space, nitaenda nimwambie macho kwa macho. I thank God because I know akona watu labda bado wanamwamini katika hizi spaces, and even agent wa serikali wale ambao wataenda kuambia kwamba kuna jamani kama amejua. Let him be told. I have even DM'd him. Naweza hata kuweka hapa kwa Jumbo Toll. Nimemdia Morara na nikamwambia kutoka juzi, from that moment that he opened alikuwa ameopen space yake, ni then nikakuja kwa speakers, but people were talking a lot and I could not have that chance, but I was prepared to tell him, but I eventually DM'd him. KOT nilimwambia, I have called him personally na nikamwambia Morara is becoming a distractor in this movement. Nimwambia KOT, Toria anajua. I've told Toria. So, mimi si ati kwamba na attack bila kumwambia mtu. Na Morara amekuja kufungua space. We are thinking kwamba anataka kuja kutuelezea. Anaanza kuja kutuambia ati I don't go with the popular opinion. The same thing about William Ruto anasema. The same thing about William Ruto anasema. Sasa tunapigana na dictator, alafu wewe unakuja kuwa dictator in this movement. Let us choose one battle. So Morara, let him clear the way. Wacha aende wapigana na wanasiasa wenzake, aende Inject Party. Nobody advised him. We do not even have divisions of political parties. There is no law in this country that you must be in a political party to contest. We have independent candidates. It is not a must that you belong to a political party. It was not too late to get a political party. Why? What was the rush of because those are kind of diversion tactics. The script ambao alipewa na kina Dennis Itumbi. Saizi tunaongea, nimekuwa nikisema hapa kwamba we need to form groups, security, kujiprotect, kind of militia, tujiprotect katika community. Why am I saying this? Wale watu ambao unaona wanaenda wakikidnap watu, they are not constitutional police that we know. Joseph Boynet, the retired IG of police, yeye ndiye ako State House. He was appointed to State House. Wametengeneza a parallel police force. Wakachukua those police that were interdicted, those police that were early retired, and some few rogue police ambao walikuwa bado wako katika service, wakatengeneza unit yao, of which they are running a parallel police force. Kazi yao ni kukidnap watu, kazi yao ni kuabduct watu, na kazi yao ndio kuua watu. Under the command of Farouk Kibet. That is the reality. And that is why they always cover themselves. Wakanunua Subaru, numberless. That is why they always cover their faces, and their vehicles are numberless. And that's why wakishika mtu hawezi kupeleka police station. They have their designated places ambao they go and torture them there. So when I tell people that mukiona hizo Subaru, get a chance, wekeni mawe barabarani na muzichome hizo Subaru. Chomeni Na mkiweza pia hao watu wenyewe mkiwapata vizuri, wachomeni wawekeni tile. These are criminals. You deal with criminals in a criminal way. If kama ni polisi amekuja na uniform yake with identity na akasema I am Inspector so and so and I've come to arrest you because of this, that is different. So hatuwezi kuwa watu wanakaa wanauliwa wanapelekwa kama kondoo. We need to start arming ourselves. We need the rise of Bungiki kukuja kuprotect their society. The rise of Jeshi la Mzee kukuja kuprotect the society. That is what we need exactly. And then hawa watu ambao wametengenezwa na IG, the former IG, Joseph Boynet, they are not more than 100. We need to start marking their faces. We know them. Start unmasking them. That is why nawaambia wale watu ambao mnanisikiza hapa NIS, kuna NIS ambao roho yako pia uko na roho nyepesi kwa binadamu. Send me a DM. Give me those names. Tuanze kuwatafuta pole pole. We finish with them. They are not more than 100. They have families. They have where they are coming from. Why should we let 100 people torture, disturb everybody? The police that we have, not all the police are killers. And that is why unaona mtu anaabductiwa, polisi wanaulizwa, polisi wanasema we don't know. And it is true, they are very innocent. They don't know. When kina this guy Bob Njagi walikuwa wameabductiwa, IG anasema I don't know. He was very innocent. He was as surprised as we are. He don't know. Because hizi ni mambo imepangwa set house with the parallel police force. And these people, they are less than 100. This information we have. So ndio sababu tunasema vijana need to have groups. Tafuteni hao vijana wa Boynet. Finya hao moja baada ya mwingine. That is the reality. Movement sasa lazima tujitokeze. And they know. Secondly, ni lazima tuelewe kwamba there is no something that is called a peaceful revolution. Isi ya kanisa. There is nothing like peaceful revolution. Revolution lazima ikuwe violent. That is the reality. And who chooses the violent? William Ruto himself. Because we tried to picket, to demonstrate peacefully, he killed us. So he already picked his line. So what is remaining for us is to show him. Hakuna kitu inaitwa peaceful revolution. Hakuna. That is a fallacy. Ile kitu ambao watu wanahitaji ni resistant revolution. Ruto lazima apatiwe stress. Lives na property huwezi kuequate. Property, you can always get property. If we burn those buildings down, si ni pesa zetu ambao zimejenga. Ni kama zile maisha ya kina Rex Masa ambao wamekufa. If those buildings zikichomwa ndio Ruto anaweza kusikia ama anaweza kushuka. Kwa nini tusichome na tukajenge tena? Zingine hata zimejengwa na wazungu. Hata hiyo state house zimejengwa na wazungu kitambo. Hata hiyo city hall. Tunaweza kuweka chini na tukaanza upya. Sisi ndio tunalipa tax. Hizo pesa wanatuibia ni nyingi kuliko hizo mabuildings. Hizo mabuildings ni important kuliko ile waya ambayo tumepoteza. We have to start talking reality. Tumeongea mambo ya theories. We have seen the policies they are trying to push on our throats. And then constitution ambayo inakuwa raped every day. And then we are saying, hey, let's follow constitution. Let's go this. Well, he himself, he does not believe in that constitution. And this is our country. Si ya Ruto peke yake. So, hakuna Mkenya pia amebeba mtoto kwa mgongo. Ruto should know that kwamba 55 million Kenyans sio tu kwamba unaongoza because uko na bunduki na risasi. Unaongoza because wamedonate that power. Wewe waongoze. And when they say no is a no, why should you force yourself? So, watu kama kina Morara ambao tunajua from the sign, from their talk, from their movement, you can clearly tell kwamba they are working for this government. Not only Morara, the others even in these spaces. There are others in these spaces. You know. So, kuna watu kama mtu kama nani kina George. Watu ambao walikuwa wanajifanya big wigs kitambo huko kwa hizi spaces before mambo ya ya finance bill. Watu ulikuwa ukikuja kwa space unaanza kuulizwa, have you read the constitution? Do you know what the constitution say about this? Then what happened about the constitution shenanigans? People rejected and say no. But now they are still there pretending to be agents of devil. So Kenya lazima we are faced with difficulties. Hakuna haja kujibatres na kusema we have to remain peaceful. Peaceful and yet we are being killed. Until when? We have to know that we are at war. Every day I keep on saying, how can you be peaceful with someone who has come prepared, armed to the teeth to kill you? And then you are saying you are peaceful. You are carrying your water and phone and the Bible. How? We have to know that we are at war. This regime, they are prepared to kill. This is a war. Kwa hivyo mi niwache hapo, but watu kama kina Morara, those people, listen, movement doesn't need Morara. We just need collective energy. And anytime you deviate, you are just one. You are just like a drop in the ocean. Mtu asichochwe na followers. Mtu asichochwe na followers. Lakini wewe tuambie what you stand for, your principles. You are not there to direct the followers, the movement. The movement iko na direction yake. So don't come and tell the movement that we are not going here, we are going here. It is the movement that have its language. Inasema kwamba we are going left or right. It is not individual. So let's stop these personalities. Let's deviate from, mtu kukuja kutuambia ati sijui yeye sasa anataka kuwa na alpha na omega movement. Lakini Morara, by looks, the way he walks, the way he talks, is a duplicate of William Ruto. He's a traitor. That's the reality. Nimeongea hapa. I believe this kuna watu ambao wana record, but I'll still kila namdia hata nikimaliza hapa nitamwambia about what he did in Narok. If you want, he can come and join the movement quietly. Na wache kutumia kama distraction. If you have been threatened, because tunaweza kuwa tunamlaumu na maybe amekuwa threatened. Maybe amejaribu kuongwa akakataa, akakuwa threatened. You have a kid. You have someone that you love. You have something that you love. You can lose it. Then anakuwa manipulated hivyo. So if you have been threatened, he can just decide to withdraw. It's not a crime. He can just step back. Na wache movement iendelee. Shukran. Yes, Toria.
Can I add something?
Before Toria, allow me to say something. I think I've spoken in different spaces, and my conviction is that by now we need to be addressing specific issue. If it's security, Fabish run with that. If it's agriculture, I'm willing to go that direction with IRB. If it's education, because we end up in a space and we are not moving, we are mark timing because we are not organizing. We have part of the way to actually stress the government is to be organized. But now we are not organizing, we rant, and it's okay to rant, but we are not moving forward. We know the pain, even when people don't speak, the pain we carry as Kenyan. Being a Kenyan right now is the most difficult thing, but we are proudly Kenyan. Can we agree to plug in the same direction? Again, Fabish, I want to remind you, I was on that space and you actually spoke. You talked to Morara on that space. So one of the ways we need to move forward, because the same way you're saying Morara should not be a distraction, even we ourselves, we need, I need to know if I hear the same way you have said, you know that I put in the work on spaces. Fabi should have a voice. Why don't you pick up a side and say, when I see you on space, I know you'll be addressing a specific issue. You use your leadership, you use your information, your conviction to guide us in the direction where we should go. Because maybe some people are making mistakes for reasons that we don't have direction on specific issues. If it's about the civic education on the ground, if honestly we can decide a forum for agriculture, we keep moving. We look at what petitions and what punitive bills have been taken to parliament, and we relay that information to the ground, we will move forward.
Hello.
But when we decide to gather, Gabriel, your mic is on. So me, I'm not against anybody. I believe in unity of purpose, and I'm here to say that yes, Morara has turned out to be a distraction. I don't believe he is a state agent. I think he's trying to own a leadership space for which we are not willing to give him an autonomous position whereby whatever he says becomes law. I was very offended when he put out the tweet that a young man says something, ask yourself why. Why do I think there are, I've done a bit of some units in forensic science, so I cannot say one issue is absolutely true. The reason why I think they went to Narok is because of Pareno. Pareno is Masai, and maybe he's the one who said, I'll take you to the ground. In terms of why was he in Narok today and not a different location, I think when you look at the logistical cost, the economic of scale would honestly say, if you go to an area, try and map out that particular region. Again, I'm not here to disagree or agree with anyone. I'm here to say, can we honestly organize? If it's healthcare, we had a very successful space with Wanjiro and Kinamagi addressing the issue of polio vaccine. And that tells you that there are spaces that we can hold that can be very productive. The other time there was Baha was highly mishandled in a space because everybody has become an expert in the wrong things. Uh, and the people who made that mistake, I called them out. And now one of them has taken the mandate to help the victims of trauma. And they are fundraising. I think Rasji should try and get help. And there are so many of those cases, so that when we have an injured soldier, when we have someone who's hurting emotionally, because Baha survived 8 bullets, and people he comes on space and people are talking to them like these boys, I don't know what. So we have to be careful. And for that reason, let people know if me, my pressing point is agriculture or healthcare, like we should never shut up about shift shaft shof. There should be a team running with that particular subject. That's the only way where those are the structures we are talking about. Otherwise, we seem to be heading we know where we want to go, but we are not willing to put in the work. So to put in the work, let's have a forum for sure, because the people are dying. We're seeing old people who are dying on the ground because of this mismanagement. So let's plug on. I believe in what Fabish you're doing. I believe in what you are saying, but not in its entirety. But you're someone I respect, and I want you to pick something and run with it, and we will turn up and support you. And that way you'll be able to lead. You'll be able to nurture and mentor other leaders. Somebody else picks a different issue. That is the only way we will have people coming in. Otherwise, we will have one-hit wonders who don't even understand how are we supposed to go. Assume today, Fabi should run a space. And because you're speaking with conviction, you're following up on a particular path, you're likely to raise people. The people you raise, tomorrow they will not become hard-headed and decide they are the law, the judge, and the jury. That is the only way we are going to save so many people and make sure we consolidate a very strong movement. And I don't want people to be afraid about 2027. If we actually stand together and focus, can you imagine having young leaders in office and they don't know what to do with agriculture? Then once in a while we can have a mega space where we address this issue. But instead of or focusing and allow people to fail and lift them up when they fail. That is how a war is won, not to turn bullets on people. Of course, we are not here to massage anybody's ego. If Morara cannot mend his mistake, then we will be glad to part ways with him. And we shouldn't even make him a topic of discussion. I'm one person who has fought in spaces fighting for him. But for me, it was not so much about it. It's about upcoming leaders. Fabisha was with you when Lean called out her community. And we realized this girl has potential. But because we are not following through with such people, you'll find her discouraged and she'll start second guessing herself. But if we nurture someone like that, or is it that we don't have ladies on the road? It's because we are not organizing enough. So kindly, I apologize if I've said anything that wanted anyone. For me, I'm so desperate for a new country. I'm so desperate for the right direction. And the only way we allow that to happen is to speak to each other and run together. Let us fail forward, because there's going to be no perfection. And let's not make people feel like I can never make a mistake. They're not perfect people. Let them make mistake, but their commitment has to be 100% for the movement. Thank you. And stop giving credit to the government. They have failed in every single way. The power is with the people. So as the people, can we stand and believe in ourselves instead of turning guns against each other? That's all I have to say. And again, I apologize. I didn't mean to be offensive. I'm so desperate for success.
Hey, Fabish.
Thank you. In fact, let's address tomorrow.
Fabish, some of us have waited for long. You can
Yeah.
kindly
Who is that?
consider all the
Ajuoga. Order.
yeah.
Ajuoga, we called you before. Ulikuwa kwa speaker, lakini haukufungua mic. Wanjiru actually ndiye alikukall. That was like 1 hour ago. Karibu anyway.
Wanjiru is a good friend of mine. For a short time, we have been together. That is how African women are. They bond very fast as compared to wale wazungu. Now, I wanted to say one thing here, that I know the reason why my sister Nothing is raising the issue of strategic engagements or focus-driven engagement is because, we have so many atrocities running parallel that you don't know which one should come first. Yani everything is a priority. And that is why it becomes very, very difficult to prioritize. What do we prioritize on? JKIA is on the way going. SHA is here. There are so many things running at the same time, parallel. The country is a crime scene by all default modes, and so you cannot even, you can't prioritize on what do we deal with first. We are in a country now, it is a crime scene in totality. The governance system is broken, all the way from the head of state down to the lowest earning civil servant. Nothing is working. Parastatals are all broken. So I think that is why maybe sometimes, Fabish, it becomes very difficult to strategize. But I'm persuaded to believe that one thing I always repeat here is that, almost 99% of us who are here are bachelor's degree holders. We are all learned. Kenyans are learned, and we are all informed. And I strongly believe that if we remove tribalism outside the space of agitation, we remove egocentrism like the Morara's characters, and we focus on a communal driven agenda, and we just combine all these things into one agenda that blanket all of them. It can work. For example, we decide that, why we are here today are disabled. In all realms you look at it, they are all crippled. They are all, their legs and minds and annuses are all cut short. They can't reason with the anus, they can't reason with the brains, they can't reason with their lower limbs. They are all cut everywhere and disarmed. They can't reason at all, and that is why we are here. That is why we are killed. We are killed because your member of parliament, who is actually representing Embakasi South, the bodies are being retrieved from his constituency and is not where to be seen now. 3 months he has not talked. That shows you the level of the quagmire going on between the presidency and the legislature. Remember, when legislature is disabled the way ours is disabled completely, like this one, the judiciary is at risk of also falling apart, because the laws made by the legislators are actually implemented at the judicial level. And if legislators are making laws that then contradict our constitution, and they are the people who are supposed to be the most powerful mouthpiece for the common mwananchi, even the judiciary will have no any other way to make those laws or in the right way or bend them in the right way for Kenyans, because our representatives are making wrong laws and they will be followed as such, because laws once made are not they are not going to be approved by the judiciary. They are supposed to be approved by assented by the president, and that is what we have seen over time, and that is why we are here. Which country is it that you have a PPP program and it is shrouded and shelved in secrecy, and Kenyans only come to hear through another Kenyan staying outside the country, when members of parliament are earning 800,000 plus allowances amounting to 1.5 million per month? So where is our problem? I think now I'm answering my sister Nothing's very strong plea. What do we focus our attention on, even as we are going to Mashujaa? Because I know the organizers, my brother Eric, has very good points and agendas for the day. But what is the most important thing? I've always said it here severally, that the most devil we are fighting today is not William Ruto. That guy can go home tomorrow when members of parliament are interested in fighting for the interest of Kenyans. Do you know that? Actually, Ruto is hanging on members of parliament. When that constitutional space can bend towards Kenyans, I'm telling you for free, Ruto will literally go back to his knees, and he might even go home. Tell me, look south, north, everywhere. What is it that Ruto can implement or can be implemented in this country without members of parliament approval? Tell me. If we had members of parliament who are not reasoning with their lower limbs today, we would not have these Adani things going on. Even allocation of funds. Now there is something circulating that Adani is even using Kenya as a collateral to get loans to implement. Who has questioned that? This is something that should be questioned by the members of parliament, but it's not happening. So I'm pushing in an agenda, pegging on my sister Nothing's contribution and plea, that if we need to prioritize, then the first thing we should prioritize is how MPs, members, our problem lies squarely on the thighs and armpits of members of parliament. When they can be able to go home and we can send and make this country volatile for them, that they cannot even have a place to stay, then literally we will have, some will resign. We will have a properly designed National Assembly that has the interest of people, so that they get to know, when you are elected as a member of parliament at the National Assembly, your work is to do what? Is to do what your constituents want. So we need to create a very volatile environment for these members of parliament. When they come at the village level, they need to be asked, why are we, nani amezikwa juzi, nani amezikwa juzi? What have you said about it? Wewe unajaza tumbo na pesa ya watu hapa. You are being killed, people are being killed. Wewe ukienda huko, what takes them to parliament is to get allowance. You know, not even to talk about it. That is why they can concentrate on someone's dressing code the whole 1 hour, laughing in a house where serious issues affecting Kenyans are supposed to be discussed. So our main agenda, our main, not really our main agenda, but one of the top 10 priority that we should start agitating for is our problems. Why we are here is because members of parliament are disabled. So we have to create either way, do something that can make them bring back their memories and know that they are serving Kenyans and not the president and not their dealers. That is one. Two, and maybe I'm completing that, Fabish, because others have not talked, is the issue of Morara. I didn't want us to get into this because it becomes this is one of the, I think, the main reason why we are here, the Morara's distraction. But Fabish, I've seen you and Jiru. We have been in these places for some times, and I think was it on Friday? Was it on Friday that we were here and we were condemning this, and now it is coming to pass? I literally also talked to Morara. Now, what I told him is, you are still young, and you are doing the right thing. But can you stop egocentrism? Reason why Masitarus is not in spaces for almost 1 week now, has not even posted anything. Do you know what Morara did? Morara hijacked Masitarus' agitation agenda, because remember Masitarus had already registered a CBO that was focusing on Kenya ni home something. Then Morara could go into every media station and start saying that he's the leader of Inject. And also, in fact, he was including Inject as part of Kenya ni home. He was saying he's the leader of Inject and also he is also the leader of and the coordinator of Kenya ni home something, or something like that. Then he crippled that lady. What does that shows? He literally took the agenda of that lady and shelved it for himself. Sasa kama wewe uko hapa na such kind of egocentric and self-centered characters, we are not going to allow you, because for sure, remember, we are not fighting for our tribes. We are not fighting for our families. We are not fighting for ourselves to benefit. We are fighting for a Kenya where every single individual can be able to get a job without any form of, kutoa pesa, kulala chini ukulu ndio upate kazi. No. We are fighting for a just Kenyans where everyone can get services anywhere, without kutoa chochote. We are fighting for a country where every child can go to school from grade 1, complete university, get an internship payable, and finally start a business. We are fighting for a country where elections are accounted for. We are fighting for a country where we don't have people coming into our country through fishy deals and taking our prides. We are fighting for a country where people can walk freely, whether in civil activism or any other form of agitations, without abductions and being killed. Those are the agendas why we are fighting. But if you are here and you know very well you are carrying the genes of Morara, that egocentric type, that self, that is not why we are here. Then one thing that needs to be known, because there is something sticking in Ruto's mind, that Gachagua has been sponsoring Gen Z's movement. I have not received any money from Gachagua, and if anyone has received any money from Gachagua, it be known that we are not interested in Gachagua, and we are not interested in any politician. In fact, we want all of them to go home. So let it be known, even those NIS who are here, tell your boss that Gachagua is not in any way related with this movement. We are fighting for the benefit of every young Kenyan in Kilifi, every young Kenyan and every adult Kenyan in Nyanza, in Central, anywhere in different part of this country. Remember, I have always said it here that I've worked in so many places in this country, especially arid areas. Watu wanateseka. Today as we talk, there are so many children wenye wamelala njaa, hawana chochote ya kukula. You know, they are with their parents and they are breastfeeding on breasts that do not even have milk. There are so many children that have to walk so many distance to get water. Those are the reasons why we are fighting. If you are the type of Morara, if you are the type of Casmuel, if you are the type of those kind of genes you are carrying, you are in a very wrong platform chasing clout, because we are not interested in anything of that form. Personally, I'm not interested in any leadership. Mine is to see that Wanjiru can come back to this country, apply for a job as a director of any parastatal and get it on merit. Mine is to ensure that Fabish can live outside, come to this country as a Kenyan, apply like any other Kenyan, get a job on merit. I can apply for any job at KNH, at MTRH, and not be distracted by community, in those areas. More University is collapsing because of attention that community has given to it, and everything is now running dry. So we all need to know, as the lady was saying, my sister was saying, we need to focus, and we need to focus on every agenda. Agenda number one, we are here because our members of parliament are disabled. They have to go home, and by any means. So as I complete tomorrow, tukiwa pale Uhuru Park, most importantly, Uhuru Park borders parliament. Our brothers and sisters, majority of them actually disappeared in parliament. Parliament is very close there. So tuwashtue tu, washtuke tuko ndani ya parliament, we are praying. And that can easily happen tomorrow, because if they know we'll be at Uhuru Park and they will not know that we can cross over to parliament, they will concentrate their attention on Uhuru Park. So even as we are moving, we are looking on any other place we can go to tomorrow after Uhuru Park. I think parliament is better off, because that is where majority of our young brothers and sisters actually were killed. If most of you do not know, and transported to different parts of the country and deposited. I think I only had those ones. I see Edwin Sifuna is here. I don't know if that is Edwin Sifuna, but if he's here, it's still fine. I can leave the baton back to you. I'm still here until the space end. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you. I agree with you 100% with your sentiments. And I think to clear the doubts, this is Edwin Sifuna commentary. Edwin, how are you?
Good evening, Kenya. I'm fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I've got an issue to put across too regarding the Gachagua narrative and the Morara personality and how he's self-centered. You'll allow me to say so because so far things hasn't been going well. He's now going off his lane and leaving us, the Gen Zs, to go in a separate way. That isn't good, because what if Morara has been being used by the government only to distract our attention? His narrative came about since the chief the chief reform, the NIF reform to chief started in the parliament. Then we went ahead, it was passed and it was implemented. Now it's working. We haven't had time as agencies to say much on it because of the distractions that have been there. That is true. And another thing, the Gachagua narrative. That's what I have to speak about because it isn't making sense at all. Why? Remember that Ruto hasn't come out clearly to tell us that it's this way. I don't want Gachagua because he's tribal. For a matter of fact, everybody's tribal in this Kenya, in this in a political landscape, because when you hear keenly at what Gachagua said, yes, somebody can say that he was trying to masquerade to be a truthful man. But yes, on the part that he said about the shareholding concept, not that I'm backing up the idea, but remember that when Kenya Kwanza government took power, they had to disclose, not disclose, to categorize Kenya into some subsections in a manner that they were looking for these tribes. This tribe will amount to this to my vote. This tribe will amount to this to my vote. Not Gachagua alone that had that narrative, because if it was Gachagua, Ruto will come out clearly and tell him that Bwana so and so, cool down, cool your temper down. It's this way that we need to go. What I'm trying to bring about is, it's either there was some collision between Ruto and Gachagua, or from the pressure from within the cabinet or within the executive is what brought about the Gachagua impeachment. And it has been tabled to the parliament. It has been pushed, of course. That isn't a lie, by the president. He hasn't come out yet to tell us that Gachagua is gone because so and so and so. 1, 2, 3. Being tribal cannot make you go to such a disgusting moment that Gachagua went through. Yeah, I love to rest my case there. I'll come back later, kindly.
Thank you, Edwin. Though you had raised curiosity because you use Edwin Sifuna picture like and some kind of so. Daniel Kinyo, pole umekatfishiwa na Edwin Sifuna.
Ametukatfish huyu uzi ati curiosity.
Hello.
Ametukatfish kabisa.
Hello, yes. I think I indicated there very well that it is a commentary account.
Okay.
So I don't know why you crucified me.
It's okay. Yeah. Daniel Kinyo, go ahead.
Cool, thanks.
No, I'm joking, Buddha boss. I'm joking. This is a safe space. Catfish all the way.
I see generally your hands has been up. Then we go to Western Silao, then Bernard. Okay. Was it? I think
yes,
Western Silao.
I think Western Silao.
It is at Generally Bernard.
Yes, what I can say, like, what we like here is focus. Like, I'll just say it the way it is, because if you talk about distraction, what is distraction? Distraction is like a barrier. You are going somewhere, like you are going to town, and the road to town, maybe you are from Rongai, has been blocked. That's a distractor. So the if I look at this case, maybe I wonder if I am in Mars or I'm in Pluto, because we are one voice. We are talking about a distraction. At one point, we bring names. Yes, it is good to speak out things the way they are, but if you bank so much, our movement here, we have not selected anyone to lead us. We don't have actual leader that we are saying this is our leader. So I see ourselves distracting ourselves. It is not even the Morara who's distracting us, because instead of focusing on our movement and see the way forward, what we can do, we are so much involved like the activities that this guy is doing. This guy, we don't know. I don't always judge so fast, but maybe there's something he's pursuing, and he's pursuing in a different field. So if we bank so much on this side, if we concentrate so much on him, it means that in somehow you accept him as your leader. That's why you feel that you are distracted, because we talk a lot about him, and he's not even adding a value. He's not adding value to what we are doing as per they say, as per what everyone is saying here. So let us, someone who is fighting for something. Yes, there are those distractions. You can be distracted if you give attention. You give much attention to what is distracting you. So let us not give much attention to those guys we call the betrayers. Maybe with them they got into this movement. They had something they were pursuing. Let's allow them to pursue what they want, because we know at long last there's nowhere they will reach. And with us, we have a common purpose, which is taking this country forward. So that makes me to agree with my sister, Nothing, when alisema like, what we can do, like, let us be purposeful to do, like, this is a movement, and a movement also we need to have those sub branches to do, like the party was talking about. She was talking about agriculture, health, education. Like if we divide ourselves amongst those groups, it's very easy, like, to know, like, this today we want to enlighten the public about this issue, because the issue here is the civic education, which we can also do on our side. We should not just live in the mantle of one person. We can also do it on ourselves. If we say huyu ni kupambana na maneno ya agriculture, to tell the people what's going on in this field, it is good. It is health, for health, so and so will be handling this and this. So we just have to be organized. So if we are very organized, it is also very easy to make these things run, and very, very smoothly. Like we are organizing tomorrow's event, we have seen people dividing themselves on each and every sector they will be performing tomorrow. Each and every sector they will be falling in tomorrow. Like the people will be falling in the sector of dealing with the issue with health. The people also will be just doing general care, like giving people water, helping people will not be able to reach. Like if we divide ourselves amongst that, like it's somehow like an organization. We just need to be organized. That's what we lack. So let's be organized. Let's avoid this issue. Me, I always say that the more we talk about, the more you talk about someone, the more you give him much attention. Yes, he may have made the mistake. Maybe he has made the mistake or not. Me, I'm not his supporter, but I always like what he does, because it is part of what I believe in, on the enlightening the public of what is going on. We can as well take advantage of what he's doing, because it is also helping the movement. On the other hand, however much he may have a mission in his side, or also a question coming from his heart, he will achieve it if he has a dream to achieve it. But on the other hand, he's also making work easier for us, because he's also helping in educating the public. So let's not bank so much on like eating each other. It will actually bring things down, because I will be talking today, then stories will come. A general was doing this and this. That one just scrambles. That just makes the movement to be like, causes much division more than unity. And me, what I've been championing here is that unity. If we are united, we even bring these low sons. Me, I always call them these people who have now come with different ideas on how to run this movement. These are just prodigal sons who just ran from home. And it is high time also we make an initiative of bringing these children home. We should bring them home. Instead of fighting them each left and center, coming to support them, what and what, that one will not add. There's no value we are adding. And I always say that let us just have one common stand. It is the movement, what we are fighting for. The side of government, me, I don't want to hear anything about this government. I hate hear anything about this government, that this one is being mistreated. If you feel that guy is being mistreated, you can as well go to the street. The Constitution allows you to go to the street. You can carry your placard and go to the CBD and tell the people there that I'm not satisfied by the way the deputy president was treated, because all these guys are all mongrels, and these are the people we are fighting to bring down. And we at no point should we show them any sympathy, because if we sympathize with them, it means we are bringing them home, and we don't want them here. That is why we were even so worried when we saw this name, Edwin Sifuna. We were so worried, like, what's happening today? So guys, we don't want anything to do with this politician because they don't care for us. None has ever championed for us. But the times when they are in problem, they are good in escalating their problems to the public so that they can buy the sympathy. And we are coming out of that. It is like that's the part of revolution. We want people to forget the mentality of believing like, if we stand with this politician is when we can make it. That one cannot work. This one we are going to do it alone. And I want everyone to believe in himself. Wherever you are, believe that you are the part of the revolution. You are what Kenya was missing for us to get what we want. May I believe I'm part of something people are missing. So just believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, is when you will start believing that you have to cling to someone, is when you have to get what you want to get. No, just believe in yourself. The way you can wake up one day and tell your wife that today we want to fight hard in this bed to get a baby girl. That is the only belief you should have. It is the same belief and the belief in yourself. You can't call a fellow man to help you get a baby girl if it's a baby girl you wanted to get. It falls on you. You just have to have a self-belief. You will not start fighting your father for giving birth to you, for making your testicles to ascend late. You will not start putting those blames on them. It will be on you. Whether you have one or two, it will be upon you to sire that child. So, brothers, let's be united. The people who have decided to take different path, allow them to take. Allow them the chance to enjoy. If that's the space they want, just give them the space. But I'm telling you that when the wind of revolution will come, it will sweep everything. It will sweep all the politicians, including all their sympathizers. So don't be worried of someone who is having different opinion about what we are doing. Let them do what they want, because some have taken this one as an advantage of maybe fulfilling some things they wanted in life. So let's just give them a space, because the more we concentrate on them, the more they distract us. And we will claim here that we are mark timing here, while we are mark timing, concentrating on the issues that can all help. Let us be focused on one important thing: removing these demagogues, these mongrels, to go home. These mongrels should not even be sitting in any place in this country. And we don't need to wish anyone bad, but Almighty God should also play his part, because we are tired of these people. So let them give us space. We don't want to hear anything to do with them. They have already made their decision. They have already formed their own house. They are teetering amongst themselves, and we are here teetering amongst ourselves. So it is either you are with us or you are with them. You cannot be with us and you are with them. You make a decision, and no one has tied you. No one has crossed your legs. No one has handcuffed you. You are not handcuffed. You are not put in prison. It is a full decision that you can make amongst yourself. If you are moving on towards the common goal, or you still want to go to bed with the instrumentals, it is high time. We don't even want to listen about them. The only thing we want to listen here are messages of hope, messages of what we aspire to do, and the messages that will take us forward. So I'll rest my point on that. Let us just focus on one thing. Let us avoid the distractions, because we will concentrate so much on them and we forget the common goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Generali. I think now we will go at least 3 minutes each. I can see a lot of requests, and maybe we will take less than an hour before we close for today, so that we can have enough rest. Laura, I wanted to give people who have not yet spoken, maybe, do you have any burning issue? Because Bernard, Western Silao, the jury is there. They have not spoken. Gabriel? Yes, Nora.
Actually, I just wanted to tell you guys it's late. We should be sleeping now.
Yeah.
So in the next few, we should be rounding up, because we need to be up early.
Correct.
That's all.
Correct.
Good night, you all.
Thank you, Nora. Okay. Yeah, Bernard, go ahead, 3 minutes, then Western Silahau, and then the jury.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Bernard.
I don't know whether it is good evening, good morning, wherever you are, depending on which part of the world you are in. I hope I'm audible enough.
You are.
Thank you so much. Now, I want to make my submission very quickly because just like someone has pointed out, it's a little bit late and quite a good number of people have also submitted. On the two issues at play, that is to start with the issue of Morara and then finally the issue of the DP. To begin with the issue of Morara, I am not going to talk much about him because previously I've made my point very clear about Morara in several other spaces and other platforms. There's a post I've just shared here, which I think I made around 8 days ago about him. Morara is that kind of person that if given an opportunity, he can make a very worst case scenario, would make a worse president than even the current president we want to send home. So that one is very clear because if you have, just like people have noticed, anytime there's an event or there's something that is going to gather us together as a Gen Z and as a nation, he must come with a distraction. He must come up with an issue. And then secondly, he is one guy that does not listen to any advice. He doesn't. For those people who have worked with him closely, like KOT, like quite a number of people, they'll tell you he doesn't consider any divergent opinion. And so once you've seen a person of that nature, then it would remind you of one very dangerous politician we have around. That is President William Ruto, who is being said that he's even advising his advisors on how to advise him. So we really need not to go back to that scenario, because as the white man once said, once bitten, twice shy. Now, how do we now move out of that as a people? One thing that we need to agree on is to ensure that we work to strengthen our unity, because it is only through that we can dislodge the current regime. Actually, dislodging a sitting president and in the caliber of William Ruto, for that matter, is not that much easy. It really needs a lot of efforts. It really needs a lot of planning. It really needs a lot of plots and counterplots. And that is what we really need to work towards, by ensuring that we remain as united as possible. One way of doing that is that once we've realized and we have noticed and we have identified those distractions, then we need to shun them off. We don't give them any platform. We deplatform them. We don't associate with them completely, so that we, at the end of the day, they just diminish like that. And in fact, if once the government realizes that they no longer have a following, the government will also dump them. And by that, we will actually work towards our unity as a people. Then secondly, we need to have a very constructive debate. I want to second what my sister Nothing talked about. We need to have issue-based debate, whereby we either talk of education, we either talk of agriculture, we either talk about the Adani issues. You know, there are quite a number of issues that are pending, which we can really talk about. Then it's not just a matter of talking or a matter of discussing, but we come up with a good structure on how we can petition the government or government agencies or arms of government, different arms of government. Secondly, we need to learn from public litigants, the historical public litigants we have around, those who really fought the Kanu regime. Kanu regime was much worse than the current regime we have. Kanu regime had real dictators. We had a president who could wake up early in the morning. He could not even use the parliament like Ruto is using, but he could just wake up, go to the press and announce that such and such a minister has been sacked, and everyone replaces you. So, but it was fought. There are some ways through which the public litigants and human rights activists worked and fought against his regime and against his agenda. So we need to really learn from that. It's good that we still have traces of those people. We have Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, we have Senior Counsel James Orengo, we have the Chief Justice Emeritus William Mutunga. They are there. We still have them. We can learn them. Even if we didn't have them, we also can learn through history, because these are things which are there in the history books and the rest of it. So we need to be awake. If at all there are people who really can also help in doing interpretation, in helping us interpreting constitutional provisions and legal provisions, it would be better, so that we don't just work blindly. Because if we work blindly, we might do something which is against the constitutional provisions, and therefore it will also injure us in a way by dragging us behind. Then number three, about the issue of Gachagua, it's actually the thing which is now being debated upon currently. I want to believe that as a people, we don't associate with him, and we don't intend to also empathize or sympathize with him, because he's actually one of the oppressors. He's one of the oppressors. He's one of those people who was very happy when the youth of this country were being murdered on broad daylight, just because they were agitating for their rights, their basic rights. You remember last year what he talked about during the Mandamanos and the rest of it. He's one guy that we actually should not sympathize or should not empathize with. What happens now, what happened in the Senate and the National Assembly, you need to understand it is a political process, and where it has reached, the law now should take its course. Whatever the court will pronounce will now be up to the implementation of the outcome of the impeachment process. But what we need to do is to really refrain from associating with either Gachagua, or maybe seem like we are supporting his impeachment, or seem like we are supporting himself. By doing that, we will really disintegrate ourselves, because that is what the current regime is also working on, to ensure that they try as much as possible to disintegrate, to disunite the Gen Zs. And then finally, we are dealing with a very shrewd politician. Ruto is one politician that we have never seen in this country, and almost in the entire Africa. Ruto is a politician who is capable of doing anything. And I've seen people really in fond of, especially people from our mountain part of the country. They have sworn to take him back to Sugoi. But it's not an easy task. Why? It's not an easy task because even right now, from the appointment of the DP, that is Kithure Kindiki, I will tell you that he is in the process of succeeding in dividing the mountain, because he's going to divide the mountain into Mount Kenya West and Mount Kenya East factions. This is something that he has dreamt of for a very long time. He has dreamt of it for a long time because he is a person who knows that if you want to rule best, you divide the people. You divide them, then you get an opportunity to rule over them. So apart from that, after he will have succeeded in dividing the people of mountain, where is likely to have a good chunk of votes from the mountain, that is the Mount Kenya East, he will now work on dividing the Gen Zs, because Gen Z is a very big constituency currently in Kenya. The Gen Zs can even form even over 60% of the voters, if at all they come out, take the votes, and also come out and vote. But now is currently working on that to ensure that by 2027, because he is not going to leave power very easily. By 2027, when people are going on the ballot, he is trying so much to ensure that he will have divided the Gen Zs, and as you have seen, he has really started working on that. That's why even Morara is there. I won't say exactly that he's being sponsored by the government, but all indications are pointing at that. So that is one thing that we need to come out clear, and we need to be very, very careful on how to deal with Ruto. If it will not be possible to dislodge him through the streets, then we have to document every process, everything that we are doing. We have to be very, very keen, we have to be very careful, and we have to be very alert. Anything that the government is doing, it's good that nowadays the technology has come up and the youths are very awake. Whatever is going to be happening in this government, whatever bill is going to be presented, we should be having, our voice should be there. Our voice should be heard. Like right now, are we aware that there's a committee that is working on the education funding model? We are almost forgetting about that, but it was constituted. It is working on the education funding model. If at all we are not satisfied with the education funding model, right now we would have discussed as a people, we would have deliberated upon that as a people, even in a space. And then now we petition the relevant organization. We petition that committee, we petition the HELB itself, and all those, even the Ministry of Education and the rest of it. That is the best way to go about it. Otherwise, we'll be making all these deliberations here and there every other day in the spaces here, but we will not make any step because we don't document, we don't institutionalize whatever we are discussing. So let's decide for those people who are going to convene, the conveners, let's come up with structured deliberations with very structured topics and themes to discuss. Then we document these ones, then we present them to the relevant committees, to the relevant commissions, and to the relevant organizations, government institutions. Even the issue of the IEBC, right now we ought to have come up with our own petition, either to the IEBC itself, even if they're not there.
30 seconds, kindly learn.
Okay, thank you. I'm just about to finish. Either to the IEBC itself, even if they're not there, or even to the parliament, that is the National Assembly or the Senate. We ought to have even done our petition to them that we are giving them an ultimatum to ensure that, even to the president, because he's the person who is supposed to fast track the issue of the IEBC. So that is my submission for now, and I think because of time, let me call it off from up to that point. And if there is anybody who might have a question, I might come back again to maybe respond. Thank you.
Western Silahau, yes.
Hi, Fabish. Thank you so much, Fabish. And greetings to listenership. Fabish, there is something you keep saying, and I'm not so sure whether we are paying attention. You were saying that it's increasingly becoming difficult to get rid of this regime through elections. And I do agree with you 100%. Because it's not just Kenya, it's across Africa. Even in what you would consider more progressive democracies in Africa, like South Africa, people are having that conversation. What is the relevance of elections if they don't transform people's lives? What is the relevance of elections if, when you go to cast your ballot, the options at your disposal in the final analysis are one and the same thing? What is the relevance of elections if, after you cast your ballot, the parliament that was there before is not any different from the parliament that comes into being courtesy of the elections that have just taken place? What is the relevance of elections if the representatives don't think that they should be accountable to the people who voted for them? So those questions are very pertinent. But for some reason in Kenya, we fetishize elections. And elections are part of what you would call guided democracy. That when you have got people in power, first, just look at it logically like this. For elections to be credible, free, fair, and verifiable, the rule of law must be upheld. The Constitution, the supremacy of the Constitution must be upheld. What does that mean? Contestants will adhere to the results. If they lose, they'll concede. If they win, they'll be magnanimous in victory. And eventually, the electorate, regardless of how they cast the ballot, will be the winners, in the sense that the government that is formed courtesy of those elections will respond to popular wishes without discrimination, without favor. We can't say that about Kenya, can we? Drawing from the elections we've had, not just 2020, but previously. So why do we invest so much hope in elections when there's evidence that they don't transform our lives? Secondly, as it's been said by those who have spoken before, the person we have currently as the president, William Ruto, is a very formidable political player, very calculating, a master in scheming, and there's evidence to that. So that makes the work of those who think they can dislodge him through elections very arduous indeed. So I think I do concur with you. You are not a cynic. You are being very pragmatic, and you are a realist. Secondly, I heard someone say that, you can't impeach a public official in Kenya because of preaching divisive politics, and in this case, tribalism. And therefore, that's no reason to impeach Rigathi. I mean, that's bizarre. It's extremely bizarre. Because we are talking about building a country that is cohesive, that has got regard for the diversity we have, that has no room for discrimination, that has got room for all the various shades of communities, of religions, of gender, name it. But how do you then be part of a movement like this and at the same time think that it's in order for a politician, and in this case, a deputy president, to openly preach divisive politics, to openly, project himself as an ethnic bigot? Like how? Then what are we doing in this movement? What does that thing about we being tribalism free mean? What does that even mean? That's a contradiction. So it's not a small matter, because people should be impeached for less. And in most cases, impeachment is about morality. It's about ethics. It's about values. So now it's not about criminal culpability. It's not. Those are weighty matters. That you've got wealth that you cannot account for, those are criminal issues. But impeachment, because it doesn't rely on ironclad evidence, it's just about morality. You behave in a manner that's inconsistent with what we cherish as a society, as a community. And therefore, I would implore some of us who are committed to this movement that we will have to have no tolerance for behavior, for pronouncements, for remarks that have plunged us into this ditch where we are, where nothing works. It's because we have got people who think that you can commandeer the state and to advance your parochial interests, that you can, tribalize the state and nothing can happen to you. So the impeachment of Rigathi, what it shows is that, well, tomorrow you can try, if you occupy public office, you can try and preach ethnic politics, but rest assured that could cost you your office. That's why this impeachment is very significant and it's very historic. We can't ignore that, because if this does not go through, then what does it mean? Ethnic bigots, ethnic supremacists will think, look, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You can just other people and nothing will happen to you. You can trash the constitution, nothing will happen to you. So Rigathi embodies all that is abhorrent and repugnant as far as Kenya is concerned. In fact, for those who follow current affairs, there is a letter that was penned by his contemporary, somebody by the name Wafula Buge. He says Rigathi, when they were at the university, he was something of an informer. He used to work for the state. He's the one who used to organize delegations by students to the State House to be, well, when they come back, they've got lots of money in their pockets. And people who are saying something else, when they come back, they're chanting and praising the state and Moi. You get? That he never took a position as far as human rights, the rule of law, torture is concerned. He was a state agent. You get? That is his contemporary saying that. And he's been like that ever since. He's been somebody who panders to the state and sells out his contemporaries. That letter is in the open. So why would we be empathetic to someone like that? Secondly, he's been in public telling people, mtanipeleka wapi? Hakuna mahali mtanipeleka. So is that a person who has regard for the rule of law? But when you act with impunity, you think that you're above the law. You think you're above the law. It's until you're in battle, is when you run to the courts, filing applications after application. But you have no regard for the rule of law. You see, is a textbook in contradictions. When you're in office, you can trash the constitution, you can ignore people, you can divide the country, you can speak with impunity. But when you are embattled, when people invoke the same law to get rid of you from office, suddenly you have confidence in the judiciary. Can you see how ironic that is? Suddenly you have confidence in the Supreme Court, but you have no regard for the courts, do you? You don't. Mutanipeleka wapi? He's been saying those things. So we should not tolerate people like Rigathi. We shouldn't. It's well and good to say he must be subjected to a fair hearing. It's well and good to say that. It's well and good to say the law must be upheld. Even those who ignore the law must still, get justice. It's well and good to say that. But we cannot tolerate somebody like Rigathi anywhere in public office. We can't. He is bad news for Kenya. If somebody like this hangs around, and God forbid, well, he's gone, from my view. But if he was to continue serving as the deputy president, and God forbid,
Yeah, kindly go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. So that would be disastrous for Bishop. Fabish, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Before I lost you.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I could see that everybody else was muted. So, Fabish, what I'm saying is this. For me, I am unequivocal that I've got issues with what William Ruto is doing as the president, but that does not blind me to calling out people around him, people in very prominent positions in his government, was behaving exactly as he's doing. That does not blind me to that. And it is in my best interest that people of a palace, these are members of a palace, as we just told you, Regadi has served Moi, has served Kibaki, has served Uhuru Kenyatta, and has served William Ruto. This is a systems man. So when they fall out, the way they are falling out, and they start cannibalizing one another, I can only relish. I can only relish. Yes. It's self-annihilation. They're annihilating themselves. I can't take sides. I cannot. I can just tell them, once you're done, those who can pick their pieces, they can. Those who cannot, tough luck. But the struggle continues. So I think we should be resolute in making our position known as far as what we consider to be barbaric and primitive politics and what we cherish and uphold as transformative politics that will change this country, not just for now, but for generations to come. We cannot be unequivocal. We're blowing hot and cold. We're lukewarm. Today, we're, very forthright about the rule of law, about constitutionalism. Tomorrow, when there's an impeachment motion, we develop cold feet. No, these people must shake hands. No, these people are not serious. I think this is a game they're playing. So how are we going to transform this country if we are not decisive? Because we have got massive problems. And if you've got massive problems, you must be decisive. And leadership is about making those tough decisions. So you can say whatever you want about William Ruto. The only problem is that he makes decisions that are not in the best interest of the people of Kenya. That is his only problem. But that he can decide, he makes decisions. And that's leadership. But in this case, he makes decisions that tend to be parochial and tend to be self-serving. How I wish he made those decisions in the interest of the people of Kenya. As I learned, Fabish, I will reference someone that is very controversial. He's a misogynist, and he wears misogyny as a badge of honor. He wears bigotry as a badge of honor, but he says things that, when you listen to, they make you think and reflect. Andrew Kibe, the other day I heard him say that elections are for fools. The language is very colorful, very colorful, but that is him. That's how we talk. But what he's saying is that it's only naive people who believe in elections when there is every evidence that those elections will not change the status quo. When there's every evidence that those who control the levers of power can easily manipulate those elections to have the outcome that they desire. And the hoodwink people, they work them up through, campaigns, their posters, their manifestos, and there's this razzmatazz. People wake up early in the morning, they queue and they go and vote. But the outcome is decided. So nothing changes. They go back to, the default settings, corruption or tribalism or extrajudicial execution or tribalization. So I think he made a point in as much as his choice of word was extremely colorful. And I think he was brutally honest. We would be extremely naive to think that under our current circumstances, we can change the architecture of this country through elections. Thank you, Fabish.
Thank you so much. We are about to, the space is about to drop. So maybe we give maybe few speakers. Kaidi, go ahead. Let me go to Prince.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for all the sharings. Weston, thank you so much for the insight. Fabish for hosting and all the listeners. Wajiro, thank you for being here. Mine is very. I kind of have been so much like on the backseat this week, just observing things, and I decided to approach this thing from a very different perspective. And the way I do it is basically not talk about these guys anymore because we are kind of like the ones who are giving them this limelight. Um, Especially given the fact that they drop a bomb every other time. There's always something that comes up, and we realize we waste a lot of time just discussing them. So, the question I've been asking myself that I think everyone has to ask themselves is how did we get here? And how does it happen that even with the goodwill we had, we are the ones who are crying foul for the aftermath? And basically, that should be my thought line. And I'm really taking it as something that I think I would instill to in everyone's mind, heart, and conscience, because we should get to a point and acknowledge that the choices we make have a lot of consequences, and it's not just me, but also you. The choices you make will affect me as a person. The choices I make will affect you as a person, especially when it comes to democracy, as much as we say it's a given right. So, take for instance, if I'm a half tribe, maybe Kikuyu and another tribe, or even better yet, just say I'm Kikuyu, for instance, and whatever has happened, you realize already the people from Meru are celebrating because one of their own has been nominated. But do they have the conscience of thinking from the perspective of the choice they make will also have an impact on their life, whether it's one of our own or not one of our own? And this should just call to me, you, us, having the conscience of playing responsible. Let's not be Cains who will ask, am I my brother's keeper? I'm partly Kikuyu, and I mean, the vote that was cast last time was basically on how will I put it, rebellious kind of vote, because we were being given what we did not expect. It felt like we were being forced to make a choice, and that kind of led us to where we are today. So the way I'm just looking at it is, I should be conscious enough and look at my other fellow Kenyans, Meru, Kisii, Luo, whatever tribe, even the minorist, and get to understand that every other choice you make, every other choice I make, has a very major effect on we as a country. And every other tribe in Kenya has a reason to why it happens to be who they are. I always say there are things you did not choose to be. You never chose to be Kenyan. You never chose to be whatever tribe you are. And you never chose to be whatever sex you are. You never chose that. And it's that setup that makes us who we are. Do we realize that the minorist community in Kenya actually gave us the constitution? They're the people who actually came together and decided. Turukanas are the ones who actually worked. Dr. Ikuru Ekot is not like one of the from the major tribes. um, and it's the small things that we do as a tribe that make us a nation. So for me, personally, I don't care about what happens with the vice president and the presidency. I don't care about it because it won't change my life. It's not going to make me any better of a Kenyan than I am today. However, it's always been my conscience, I think, since I knew what the Constitution is, and I always say, I just want to have a place whereby we will wake up and realize the Constitution is being respected by every other person, whether you're rich, poor, wealthy, famous or unfamous or whatever. You don't have this personality of thinking that because you have the power, which we are the ones who gave you. You have every mandate to go about and just be on this law of the land. The only thing I want to see, for instance, is the courts being respected and the constitution being upheld, because that is what makes me Kenyan. That's what makes us stay up this late trying to find out on how we're going to see a better tomorrow. We are talking about not having a clean election because the constitution is still not going to be respected by the people we say we give power. So if you cannot respect that book, there's no way I'm going to trust and say I can give you the confidence of you being my leader. But the parting shot is just keep in mind that in every other choice you make, in every other choice I make, I've always used these letters WIIFM. Let us just embrace and ask ourselves what's in it for me in every other choice you make, because it has a very, very major ripple effect on not you, not me, but all of us, and even the generations that lie ahead of us. Now, it seemingly looks like the fight we've been so much like trying to fight for the last 3 or so months will not even be something we'll get to enjoy the fruits. And everyone is coming to terms with that we have to tighten up and just know that the war we are in right now, we are doing it for the generations ahead of us. Why? Because um, even as we speak right now, we're speaking one language, but even in our midst, there are people who still feel like, no, I still don't think I'm with these guys fully. Morara being one of them. Nobody expected he would actually do whatever he's doing. No one expected him to be flip flopper, you know. And the Meru now being happy and saying, "Oh, one of us has been chosen." Like we just forgot that this is a guy who actually stood for the abductions and the murder of so many Kenyans who some are not even accountable for. So we have a lot of divisions among us, and this may not be as hopeful as it seemed. The only thing we have to do is ask ourselves, even when I say speak on this space or stay up this late, the question I need to ask myself is, what's in this for me? What am I gaining out of this? Who is this guy, and what is whatever Weston or whoever says going to benefit me? Do I speak to him? Do I listen to him because it's going to make me a better Kenyan, or am I just doing this because I want people to realize that I'm also on a space in this night and that's it? And that way now responsibility becomes part and parcel of it's your role. Like I shouldn't look at Fabish and say he's the one to host a space, so that we can actually, I don't have to host because he hosts. I can come on his space and we just put our heads together so that the one we have becomes two, instead of feeling like, no, if he can do this, I also can do mine. Then that is just creating more division than anything. So I think let's just have that conscience of knowing that the choice I make will affect you, will affect your life, will affect your siblings, your generations ahead. And consultation is very important. Let's stop being selfish, because that is what the leaders we have in place have so far showcased. And we are orphans right now. We don't have anyone who takes care of us or looks at us and says we have someone we can run to. Sometimes you wish even Kibaki or that Moi you don't like was alive, because they would actually have given us advice. But the one and only president who is alive right now told us not to, and we kind of just acted dumb. We were like, no, you can't tell us anything. So listen and trust your conscience, and just march along, because one way or the other we have to find a way out of this. And the only person who will make me succeed is you. The only person who will make you succeed is me. That's why we are called Kenyans. If I decide to walk this journey alone, I will end up tumbling. It's not going to make us any better. So just keep the focus on, marshal on, and remember your choices have a very, very huge impact on me as a person, as a Kenyan. Thanks, and have a good night. Bless.
Thank you, KD. We want to end, so we will have Prince Bahati, then Jungle, then Echo, and finally Collins. So, and make it 3 minutes, please, so that we can end the space. So, Prince. If Prince can't hear me, Echo, please go ahead. Then Jungle. Collins, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it can be hard. Maybe, I don't know, people are maybe sleeping.
Oh yeah, maybe they're tired. So probably
Yeah,
this jungle is back. I think he had connection issues, or she. So maybe Jungle can go ahead.
yeah. I also think we should maybe target finishing by the next 10 minutes so that
Yeah.
we can have a good resting time for tomorrow. I can see nothing is here. Nothing if you're ready.
I've come back to the mic because I've seen Prince Baha here. Kindly, if you can try and give him the mic again. I wanted to apologize to him for what happened in the space I was telling you guys about earlier. We value you. We stand with you for what you went through. And what happened was very unfortunate. But by the time I was addressing the space and trying to get you back on the mic, you had already left. I'm deeply sorry for what happened. I had talked about it on this space that people are trying to be experts on everything, but you can never be an expert on someone's trauma. So nobody should push you in any direction. They don't know what you went through being shot 8 times. But that experience, there's someone who's been trying to reach to you. I'll send you her details. They're trying to see how best, there's a diaspora community that's trying to see how best you can get assisted. I regretted what happened. I was hoping you would come back to the mic and explain your case. I think some of them, I think sometimes people speak out of ignorance because when you were locked up after being discharged, we were among the people who are raising, yes, that's what happened to him, who were raising the alarm after I saw the video. We tried to reach out to the lawyers. We tried to create awareness. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive the ignorance that happened that night. I don't think they intended to harm you. We are seeing a lot of that ignorant expertise, and then when someone says something, the whole group sing it like a song. We have a responsibility to be our brother's keeper, and I'm deeply sorry. I don't have the right words to say to you, but I understand it's a difficult journey, and kindly, if you may, you can allow them to see how they can support you. I had some chat with them on the DM, and some are remorseful, and out of it activated the need to address cases like yours. I yield. Baha, if you can hear us, kindly get the mic.
Yeah, thanks. Nothing. Prince Bahati is here. He's on the mic. I don't know if he can hear us. So please, Prince, if you can go ahead, please do. And then after that, we'll have Jungle. And finally, I think Collins. I don't know. I can see Edwin Sifuna is back here also. So kindly, Prince, if you can hear us, go ahead. If not, Jungle. It seems Prince cannot, I think, hear us something. So Jungle, please, I see your hand is up. You can take the mic.
Great people, please can I speak?
Yes, please, Jungle.
I think we're having an issue with hearing people. So I Bay, if you would agree with me, I think it's time we cross the space. I don't know if you would agree with me on that, but we keep on the spirit of tomorrow, Mashujaa Day celebration, and
I was to speak, so what happened? I haven't
you
spoken just a little.
Go ahead.
you can have like 2 minutes so that we can actually cross the space.
So thank you so much for an opportunity to speak. I've been waiting for this almost for 2 hours, but I take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you. For those who are in diaspora, those who are in Kenya, I take this opportunity to thank